Just have one clarification about this extra attack in Syria.
Sure.
Did it happen this Tuesday or Tuesday last week?
It was an attack this past Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And then on the incident with the drone yesterday with the Carney, the statement from CENTCOM
Yeah.
mentioned one of the ships that the Carney was escorting was carrying equipment, military equipment to the region. My understanding that this is not a government ship, but are you able to say whether that shipment was going to Israel or somewhere else, and maybe try to understand what actually happened in that incident?
Sure. All I know that is it's not a military ship. It's a commercial vessel. In terms of where it was going, I don't have more information for you on that. I would direct you to the CENTCOM team to answer more of those questions. But yes, the Carney was escorting that ship as a matter of safety and to ensure, international passageways obviously remain open. But in terms of where that ship was bound for, the Central Park, I think that. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting my own incidents confused here. In terms of where the Carney was escorting that commercial ship, I just don't have more for you on where it was going.
And then lastly, in terms of rules of engagement with some of the UAV activity, what is the threshold? I mean, obviously these incidents are happening in international waters. Do you have information on how far out was the drone before it was shut down by the Carney?
I don't have the exact measurements of how far it was from the Carney, but of course a commander of a ship, if he or she assesses that the drone or missile is a threat to that ship and the personnel on that ship, they have the authority to shoot it down. So I don't know that there's a threshold that needs to be met so much so as that the commander of that ship feels that it is under threat and therefore they must take action and respond in whatever is coming its way. Yeah, Liz.
Hey, Sabrina. The USS Carney shot down a drone that was, quote, heading towards it, according to the statement we got yesterday in the Red Sea. And then on Sunday, the USS Mason, at least one ballistic missile was heading towards it. But these are not deemed the targets of these Houthi missiles. So my question is, what makes these not considered targets? What is the target? Why are these not being considered attacks like the attacks in Syria and Iraq? Because the Iranian proxies are missing there too.
Well, I don't know that we wouldn't say that these aren't attacks. I mean, we are, of course, taking action if we feel that they are a threat to us. But in terms of intended target, our initial assessments when it came to what the Mason took down and what the Carney took down, our initial assessment is that the ships were not the intended target, but they came close enough where at least the Carney felt the need that it had to engage the drone that was coming its way or headed toward in the general direction. And I'm sorry, I forgot you had another question in there that I'm.
I guess just to pinpoint it a little bit more, if it's not the intended target, then is it an attack or not an attack?
Well, again, I refer you to the people who are launching these drones or missiles, what their intended target is. We can't really speak to that. What we can speak to is the fact that our initial assessment, and if that changes, we would let you know, but our initial assessment right now is that these ships are not the intended target. If that changes, and if we continue to go through our assessments and say, we did another analysis and it did look like they were targeting the Carney, we would, of course, let you know and adjust how we're talking about these. But again, it is up to the commanders of these ships if they feel that they are under attack or they feel like their personnel are threatened to be able to respond and take action.
And a completely separate topic. So President Biden met with Chinese President Xi earlier this month in San Francisco, and they said that military-to-military communication would continue or would restart. Has Secretary Austin or anyone in the U.S. military been in contact with their Chinese counterparts since that meeting?
I don't have anything to read out today. We certainly welcome the conversation, and that was something that you saw the president announce in San Francisco, that mill-to-mill communications would start back up again. But again, until the PRC appoints the secretary's counterpart, the secretary doesn't have someone to necessarily engage with just yet. But of course, we welcome mill-to-mill communications at the very high levels from the secretary to our lower levels and of course, in the Indo-Pacific as well. I'm going to go to Allie.